There are moments in Scripture that feel almost too dramatic to believe, yet they unfolded exactly as written. One of those moments begins on a night when a young man sat alone in the darkness, certain his life was coming to an end. His name was Daniel. He lived far from home in a kingdom that did not share his faith. Kings respected him, but others feared the influence he carried. And on that night, after being caught in a political trap disguised as a law, he faced a death designed to terrify anyone who dared stand for what was right. He was to be thrown into a pit filled with starving lions. Daniel had been under pressure before, but nothing like this. The ground trembled as the massive iron gate slid open. Soldiers pushed him forward. From below, he heard the deep breathing of the lions and the scrape of their claws against stone. They moved in circles, already sensing they were about to be fed. Most people would have begged for mercy. Daniel did something very different. He lifted his eyes instead of lowering them. He whispered a quiet prayer that came from trust, not fear. God, I belong to you. Whatever happens now, I know you are still my defender. The soldiers shoved him into the pit, and the gate slammed shut behind him. In the palace above, the court erupted in celebration, but one man felt no joy. King Darius. He had been tricked into signing the decree that condemned Daniel, and as soon as he realized what had happened, regret crushed him. He walked the floors of his palace all night, refusing food, music, or rest. His advisors dismissed his worry, but he knew exactly what he had done. He had sentenced the only man brave enough to tell him the truth without flattery. Inside the den, Daniel felt the warm breath of the lions surrounding him. Their growls echoed through the chamber, vibrating against the stone walls. Then something unexpected happened. The lions slowed. Their growling softened. Their steps became lighter, almost hesitant. It felt as if an unseen command had filled the room. Daniel opened his eyes fully, and there he saw it. An angel stood between him and the jaws that should have ended his life. There was no dramatic glow, no overwhelming display. Just a calm, steady presence with complete authority. The lions backed away. One even lowered itself beside Daniel, its body relaxed instead of tense. Daniel rested his hand gently on its mane and wondered for a moment if he had slipped from life into something beyond it. But the cold stone beneath his feet told him this was real. The danger was real. And so was the protection. God had not removed him from the pit. God had stepped into it with him. Daniel did not panic during the long hours of the night. He didn't beg. He simply stayed still inside the miracle unfolding around him. And above the den, the king waited for dawn with a heart heavy enough to crush him. When the first light of morning broke, Darius ran to the lion's den with no guards and no royal pride. He called Daniel's name before the stone was even moved aside. His voice carried hope and fear at the same time. Then, from the darkness, came the voice he longed to hear. "My king, may you live forever." God sent his angel to shut the mouths of the lions. "I am unharmed, for I was innocent before him and before you." The king nearly collapsed in relief. The men who had planned Daniel's downfall were ordered into the pit, and the lions attacked them before they even reached the floor. The miracle wasn't because the lions had been gentle. It was because God had been present. But the story doesn't stop at the rescue. Darius issued a proclamation to every nation under his authority, not about land or war or taxes, but about faith. He declared that the God of Daniel was alive, that his kingdom had no end, that he rescues and saves, that he performs signs and wonders, that he alone had the power to silence the lions. A king who did not worship the God of Israel now proclaimed his greatness to the world. A kingdom watched a miracle take place before their eyes. And all because one man refused to let fear decide who he would be. This is what real courage looks like. Not loud speeches, not physical strength. Just steady obedience in a world that pressures you to compromise. The story carries a deeper truth as well. Sometimes God does not keep you out of the pit. Sometimes he allows you to face the place you fear the most. Not to destroy you, but to show that he can protect you where no one else can. To reveal that his presence is stronger than any threat. To silence the idea that he has forgotten you. Daniel walked out of that pit without a single injury, but he carried something more powerful than safety. He carried a testimony that shook an entire empire. His survival became proof that faith is not tested in calm seasons. It is tested in danger, in confusion, and in moments where fear tries to take over but you choose trust instead. Anyone who has felt cornered, overwhelmed, betrayed, or trapped can find themselves somewhere inside Daniel's story. The lions may not look like they did in his time. They might take the shape of financial stress, health issues, loneliness, disappointment, or fear of the future. But the truth stays the same. God can silence whatever threatens you. He can turn a place of destruction into a place of deliverance. He can take your hardest season and turn it into the proof that lifts someone else out of their despair. One more truth is often overlooked. Daniel was not saved because he lived a perfect life. He was saved because he was faithful. He prayed even when it could cost him everything. He trusted God when he felt the pressure closing in. He stood firm when the world tried to break him. And that simple, steady faith opened the door for God to step in. Today, the ruins of Babylon are silent. The kings who ruled there have been forgotten. The empire that once seemed unstoppable has turned to dust. But Daniel's story remains alive. Not because of the lions, not because of the politics, but because it reveals a God who sees every injustice, every trap, every fear, and every long night you face alone. A God who still sends help in ways you may not expect. If you feel like you are standing at the edge of your own lion's den, remember this. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is choosing to trust God while fear is present. Daniel's miracle did not begin when the angel arrived. It began the moment he chose faith. And that same choice still has the power to change lives today.